cutting through a little channel off the river. Um, but the water's low. So I've got some obstacles here to move around, kind of like life, right? Sometimes the water's low. Got to be careful. Uh, Different seasons. But oftentimes people will ask me how to hear from God. I don't know why they ask me, but what I usually tell them is, first off, um, God is speaking. He's always speaking. The question is, are we listening? And that's kind of the trick, I guess. And I think kind of learn to listen by way of experience. But he speaks to us, through the more obvious ways. If you're reading scripture, church attendance, he'll speak to us through our pastors, our spiritual leaders. He'll speak to us through our mentors, and he'll speak to us just to fellow travelers. He'll speak to us through people we don't like. He'll speak to us through people that may not like us. He'll speak to us through people we don't know, if we're listening. So, be kind to strangers. You never know who God will cause you to cross paths with. I've had people I've never met before stop me and say things that just left me thinking for a long time to come. And I had to wonder, was this not a messenger sent to me from above? And so, yeah, be kind to strangers, right? And love your neighbor. Who is my neighbor? Your neighbor is the one that is in proximity to you right now, whoever's close enough to serve, right? So, but he'll speak to us through books, through movies, speak to us through creation. I come out and paddle every Saturday morning, and I expect to hear the voice of God in creation. And sometimes I'm so busy getting from, paddling from point A to point B that I'm not paying attention. That's on me. God is always speaking. It's a question of whether or not we're listening. It was the kingfisher speaking right then, if you heard him. Be still. It's hard to hear God in a hurry. You've got to slow down, make space for quiet. Be still. Be still and know that I'm God. The still small voice of God. Those familiar things that we get from Scripture. Just because they are familiar to us, it doesn't make them any less true. Be still. Hear. He's always speaking. Are we listening? And be careful that you're not just inventing the voice of God. Maybe there's something you want to hear God say. Your imagination will cooperate with your want to and desires, and allow you to be self-deceived in hearing the voice of God. But otherwise, I say it this way. If I'm trying to discern if something is the voice of God, or, sometimes it's pizza, as we say, from the night before. To me, usually the voice, it comes kind of slow, low, and subtle. It's kind of like you've got this feeling right here. It's kind of a tapping, kind of like a quiet whisper, hey, you, hey, hey. And for me, it's like it's persistent. It kind of stays there. It just doesn't come and then go. That's why oftentimes I'll wait. I'll say, this might be the voice of God, but I'm going to wait, because usually if it's the voice of God, that subtle nudging will continue until now, if you're going to ignore it and disobey, it'll eventually be quiet, you know. But if I've got that consistency, then I'm starting to think that maybe God is speaking to me. Anyway, I wasn't planning on saying that this morning, but maybe somebody needed to hear it. What do I know? Saint up, paddle hard, believe, live.